our residents, and so my first time, the first time I ever did research ever, I was in 3rd grade, and I got assigned to study anything, and I wanted to study how syrup got made. And right down the road from my grandparents is Mitch's Maples, where I was able to interview Mark, who runs the syrup place, and I got to learn all about how to make syrup. And from then, Chester has had a really important role in my life. So years and years later, a couple years ago, I was at a dinner with my grandmother, and I was asking for the town gossip, and I was like, "Tell me what's going on. Like, I know you're on the school board. There's got to be something." And she launches into this crazy story about the Chester Chieftains, which is the former school mascot. It looks like that. We'll come to that in a second. But she goes into this story about how a little while ago, the school board had voted to remove the chieftain imagery from the school because it was deemed racist. And so we get rid of the chieftain, and then a little bit down the line, the state of Vermont passed a bill called the Non-Discriminatory School Branding Bill, which said that basically public schools in Vermont could not have racist mascots. And so this kind of restarted that debate. And so now the conversation became, can we separate imagery from name? Can we remove chieftain from the school altogether? Can we erase whatever legacy it's had? And so I was really fascinated by this puzzle, because the mascot is what in political science is called a non-distributive political conflict, meaning it shouldn't carry any weight. It's purely symbolic. It doesn't affect taxes, it doesn't affect education policy. It really is just a symbol. And so I was confused. I was like, why do people care so much about this? And I kind of thought I knew, because I had seen it happen before. I saw the Redskins, I saw it here at Middlebury with the removal of the name from Mead Chapel. I saw it when the Civil War monuments came down, and I kind of thought it was this simple issue that, people got up in arms and then it was solved. But then when I got into it, what I did, we'll get into it in a second, but when I got into it, it became a lot more complicated, and I gained a lot of sympathy in the process. And so what I'm doing here for my thesis is I'm doing a purely qualitative study about why did people care so much about the Chester mascot. And so why do people care about a symbol? Why do people care about something that shouldn't affect anything? And I kind of knew going into this that I wasn't really going to be able to do a traditional positivist political science study, so I couldn't just give a survey to the town and ask people fill out, why did you care, yes or no? Was the mascot racist, yes or no? Because while that would have given me a really interesting survey of what the town thought, it wasn't going to get at the heart of this deeply identity-rooted issue. And so this is the old mascot. It used to hang in the front of the school. It no longer hangs there. Obviously, it's since been removed. And so the first thing that I looked at, I came away with 4 themes of why people cared. And the first of those themes are, I label as power dynamics. And part of the coolness of what I'm doing is that because I'm doing this interpretive study, I can kind of label what I think people meant. So, other people might attribute this to something else entirely, but because I'm interpreting what people are saying to me, I'm able to call it power dynamics. And so in my research, I studied a lot of what they call community power studies. And so those are studies that are designed to get at the heart at who makes decisions in a town. And so while that guided my focus, I was a little bit more interested in why people reacted. So, someone makes a decision and then there's a subsequent reaction. And so in a lot of my reading about rural areas and about